Good afternoon, children. Today we are going to learn the chapter Deep Water, and it's a chapter by William Douglas. The following excerpt is taken from Of Men and Mountains by William O. Douglas. It reveals how, as a young boy, William Douglas nearly drowned in a swimming pool. In this essay, he talks about his fear of water and thereafter how he finally overcame it, and it's an autobiographical part which is used to support the discussion of fear. Okay, students, so everybody will be having some fear in their lives. Now let's find out how to overcome it. It had happened when I was 10 or 11 years old. I had decided to learn to swim. There was a pool at the YMCA in Yakima that offered exactly the opportunity. The Yakima River was treacherous. Mother continually warned against it and kept fresh in my mind the details of each drowning in the river. But the YMCA pool was safe. It was only 2 or 3 feet deep at the shallow end, and while it was 9 feet deep at the other, the drop was gradual. I got a pair of water wings and went to the pool. So the chapter begins us with the author's intense desire to learn to swim. And how much years old he was? He was 10 years old. Okay. And actually there was a pool at the YMCA in Yakima. So the place referred to is Yakima. Actually the Yakima River was dangerous, and his mother used to continually warn him, and so he went to the pool to learn swimming as it was safe over there, and he is having all the equipments along with him, the water wings, the apparatus to help swimming, and the flow also was not that much in the pool. I hated to walk naked into it and show my skinny legs, but I subdued my pride and did it. From the beginning, however, I had an aversion to the water when I was in it. This started when I was 3 or 4 years old, and father took me to the beach in California. He and I stood together in the surf. I hung on to him, yet the waves knocked me down and swept over me. I was buried in water. My breath was gone. I was frightened. Father laughed, but there was terror in my heart at the overpowering force of the waves. Okay, now what happened? He was quite ashamed of showing his skinny legs, but anyways he did it. He wore the swimming suit and all, and he's saying that he actually disliked water. He had a very dreadful experience when he was 3 or 4 years. He was taken to a beach in California along with his father, and even though he was holding his father tightly, the waves swept him, and his father laughed, and there was a fear in his heart or because of this overpowering force of the waves after that time. My introduction to the YMCA swimming pool revived unpleasant memories and stirred childish fears, but in a little while I gathered confidence. I paddled with my new water wings, watching the other boys and trying to learn by aping them. I did this 2 or 3 times on different days and was just beginning to feel at ease in the water when the misadventure happened. Okay, he was recalling all the unpleasant memories, and it aroused some childish fears in him. Anyways, he gathered a little confidence and he imitated what the other children was trying to do, and he paddled with his water wings in the water. And after doing it for some different days, he was beginning to feel comfortable with the water. But soon what happened, children? A misadventure happened. Let's find out what it is. I went to the pool when no one else was there. The place was quiet, the water was still, and the tiled bottom was as white and clean as a bathtub. I was timid about going in alone, so I sat on the side of the pool to wait for others. I had not been there long when in came a big bruiser of a boy, probably 18 years old. He had thick hair on his chest. He was a beautiful physical specimen with legs and arms that showed rippling muscles. He yelled, "Hi, Skinny, how would you like to be ducked?" With that, he picked me up and tossed me into the deep end. I landed in a sitting position, swallowed water, and went at once to the bottom. I was frightened, but not yet frightened out of my wits. On the way down, I planned. When my feet hit the bottom, I would make a big jump. Come to the surface, lie flat on it, and paddle to the edge of the pool. It seemed a long way down. Those 9 feet were more like 90, and before I touched the bottom of my lungs were ready to burst. But when my feet hit bottom, I summoned all my strength and made what I thought was a great spring upwards. I imagined I would bob to the surface like a cork. Instead, I came up slowly. I opened my eyes and saw nothing. Now, what happened one fine day, as he went to the pool, there was nobody there. It was quite quiet. And all of a sudden, what happened? An 18 years old boxer, okay, a very muscular boy is coming over there and he is throwing him to the water, okay. And he was unable to swim. He don't know swimming. And what happened? Yes, normally he will go to the downwards, okay. And when he reached the surface of the pool, he is trying to bounce back, but he was unable to do. He was not able to see anything and he felt that his lungs are ready to burst. But water that had a dirty yellow tinge to it. I grew panicky. I reached up as if to grab a rope, and my hands clutched slowly at water. I was suffocating. I tried to yell, but no sound came out. Then my eyes and nose came out of the water, but not my mouth. I flailed at the surface of the water, swallowed and choked. I tried to bring my legs up, but they hung as dead weights, paralyzed and rigid. A great force was pulling me under. I screamed, but only the water heard me. I had started on the long journey back to the bottom of the pool. I struck at the water as I went down, expending my strength as one in a nightmare fights an irresistible force. Had lost all my breath, my lungs ached, my head throbbed, I was getting dizzy. But I remembered the strategy. I would spring from the bottom of the pool and come like a cork to the surface. I would lie flat on the water, strike out with my arms, and thrash with my legs. Then I would get to the edge of the pool and be safe. I went down endlessly. I opened my eyes. Nothing but water with a yellow glow, dark water that one could not see through. And then sheer, stark terror seized me. Terror that knows no understanding. Terror that knows no control. Terror that no one can understand. Who has not experienced it? It was shrieking underwater. I was paralyzed underwater, stiff, rigid with fear. Even the screams in my throat were frozen. Only my heart and the pounding in my head said that I was still alive. And then, in the midst of the terror, came a touch of reason. I must remember to jump when I hit the bottom. At last, I felt the tiles under me. My toes reached out as if to grab them. I jumped with everything I had. But the jump made no difference. The water was still around me. I looked for ropes, ladders, water wings. Nothing but water. A mass of yellow water held me. Stark terror took an even deeper hold on me, like a great charge of electricity. I shook and trembled with fear, fright. My arms wouldn't move, my legs wouldn't move. I tried to call for help, to call for mother. Nothing happened. Okay, children, now we have an account of the things that was experienced by him when he was in the water in the pool. Okay, so he's swallowing some water, he's choking, he is trying to bring his legs up, but he feels that he's paralyzed and rigid. He's screaming, but nobody is hearing his scream. Okay, and he is trying to get back to the position. His lungs are aching, his head was beating loudly, he was becoming dizzy, means he was about to faint, and he always remembered the strategy that he should come like a cork to the surface, but all his attempts to come to the surface are getting failed. All he can see was yellow glow under the dark water, and there was terror everywhere. He felt terror. Okay, he was not understanding anything. He was not able to control himself. He was just screaming underwater. He felt paralyzed, rigid, and hard, and his entire body was stiffed up. His heart and head was beating so badly, and he was able to gather up some courage somehow, and as his toes reached, he grabbed them and he jumped, but the jump was not making any difference. He looked for ropes, ladders, water wings, nothing was there, and he was trembled with fright. He wanted his arms to move, his legs to move. He tried to call. He wanted to call his mother, but nothing happened. He was in a utter helpless situation. And then, strangely, there was light. I was coming out of the awful yellow water. At least my eyes were. My nose was almost out too. Then I started down a third time. I sucked for air and got water. The yellowish light was going out. Then all effort ceased. I relaxed. Even my legs felt limp, and a blackness swept over my brain. It wiped out fear. It wiped out terror. There was no more panic. It was quiet and peaceful. Nothing to be afraid of. This is nice. To be drowsy, to go to sleep. No need to jump. Too tired to jump. It's nice to be carried gently. To float along in space, tender arms around me, tender arms like mothers. Now I must go to sleep. I crossed to oblivion and the curtain of life fell. The next I remember I was lying on my stomach beside the pool, vomiting. The chap that threw me in was saying, but I was only fooling. Someone said, the kid nearly died. Be all right now. Let's carry him to the locker room. Several hours later, I walked home. I was weak and trembling. I shook and cried when I lay on my bed. I couldn't eat that night. For days, a haunting fear was in my heart. The slightest exertion upset me, making me wobbly in the knees and sick to my stomach. I never went back to the pool. I feared water. I avoided it whenever I could. A few years later, when I came to know the waters of the Cascades, I wanted to get into them. And whenever I did, whether I was wading the Tieton or bumping river or bathing in warm lake of the goat rocks, the terror that had seized me in the pool would come back. It would take possession of me completely. My legs would become paralyzed. Icy horror would grab my heart. Now, what happened? He was very strangely, he was seeing a light, and it was coming out of that fearful yellow water. His eyes and his nose was out, and he started a third time. He tried to get some air and splash back, but the yellowish light was going out. Actually, he was beginning to faint, and he said that there is no need of any panic. It's nice to get drowsy and be sleepy. He actually wanted that he must go to sleep, and when he woke up, he was actually lying on the besides of the pool and he was vomiting. Actually, he was rescued by some people, and the fellow who threw him to the pool was saying that actually he was just joking. And after several hours of care and all, he was walking back home. And actually, he was completely shattered. He was so weak. He was trembling and he cried a lot. And he was lying on his bed. He was not able to eat that night because that was a great terror, a very haunting terror that has grasped his heart. He never went back to the pool and he was afraid of water and he avoided it whenever he could. But after a few years later, what happened when he came to know about the waterfalls, he actually wanted to go there and enjoy the waters with his friends. But every time an icy horror would grab his heart and the long back fear that he experienced in the YMCA pool would come off, and that would take possession of him, and his legs would become paralyzed. This handicap stayed with me as the years rolled by, in canoes on Maine lakes fishing for landlocked salmon, bass fishing in New Hampshire, trout fishing on the Deschutes and Metolius in Oregon, fishing for salmon on the Columbia at Bumping Lake in the Cascades. Wherever I went, the haunting fear of the water followed me. It ruined my fishing trips, deprived me of the joy of canoeing, boating, and swimming. Now he was confronting a big problem. He was not able to do any water adventurous sports. He was not able to do the canoeing, boating, and swimming and all. And he just wanted to overcome the fear of water. It ruined his fishing trips also. I used every way I knew to overcome this fear, but it held me firmly in its grip. Finally, one October, I decided to get an instructor and learn to swim. I went to a pool and practiced 5 days a week, an hour each day. The instructor put a belt around me, a rope attached to the belt went through a pulley that ran on an overhead cable. He held on to the end of the rope, and we went back and forth across the pool, hour after hour, day after day, week after week. On each trip across the pool, a bit of the panic seized me. Each time the instructor relaxed his hold on the rope and I went under. Some of the old terror returned and my legs froze. It was 3 months before the tension began to slack. Then he taught me to put my face under water and exhale, and to raise my nose and inhale. I repeated the exercise hundreds of times. Bit by bit, I shed part of the panic that seized me when my head went underwater. Now, at last, he is arranging an instructor and he is learning swimming. Okay. And eventually, he was able to get over his fear of water. Next, he held me at the side of the pool and had me kick with my legs. For weeks, I did just that. At first, my legs refused to work, but they gradually relaxed, and finally, I could command them. Thus, piece by piece, he built a swimmer. And when he had perfected each piece, he put them together into an integrated whole. In April, he said, "Now you can swim. Dive off and swim the length of the pool. Crawl, stroke." I did. The instructor was finished. But I was not finished. I still wondered if I would be terror stricken when I was alone in the pool. I tried it. I swam the length up and down. Tiny vestiges of the old terror would return. But now I could frown and say to that terror, "Trying to scare me, huh? Well, here's to you. Look," and off I would go for another length of the pool. This went on until July, but I was still not satisfied. I was not sure that all the terror had left. So I went to Lake Wentworth in New Hampshire, dived off a dock at Ricks Island, and swam 2 miles across the lake to Stamp Act Island. I swam the crawl, breaststroke, side stroke, and backstroke. Only once did the terror return when I was in the middle of the lake. I put my face under and saw nothing but bottomless water. The old sensation returned in miniature. I laughed and said, "Well, Mr. Terror, what do you think you can do to me?" It fled and I swam on. So we are having a very happy ending. Okay, the swimming practice that began in October, it's coming to an end by April. The instructor was very confident that our William Douglas will be able to swim by his own. But still, William was not that confident, so he kept on practicing till July, and he is experiencing. Okay, he is trying out each and every pool which was available out there, and whenever the terror used to come, he used to make laugh of the terror, and he overcome the terror very confidently. Yet I had residual doubts. At my first opportunity, I hurried west, went up the Titan to Conrad Meadows, up the Conrad Creek Trail to Maid Glacier, and camped in the high meadow by the side of Warm Lake. The next morning I stripped, dived into the lake, and swam across to the other shore and back, just as Dow Corcoran used to do. I shouted with joy, and Gilbert Peak returned the echo. I had conquered my fear of water. The experience had a deep meaning for me, as only those who have known stark terror and conquered it can appreciate. In death there is peace. There is terror only in the fear of death, as Roosevelt knew when he said, "All we have to fear is fear itself." Because I had experienced both the sensation of dying and the terror that fear of it can produce. The will to live somehow grew in intensity. At last I felt released, free to walk the trails and climb the peaks and to brush aside fear. Now he is again experiencing, he was still doubtful whether he is having some terror of water. So he is trying another swimming practice, and at last he shouted with joy that he had conquered his fear of water. And he says towards the end of the chapter that in death there is peace, but there is terror only in the fear of death. And there's an important quote here, underline that. All we have to fear is fear itself. And he says he had the experience of the sensation of dying and the terror or the fear it can produce. So he overcame the fear of water through his very determined mindset. Okay, children, so it was a very interesting chapter by William Douglas.